Estafet pergantian Presiden Indonesia menjadi topik hangat dunia. Sejumlah media asing turut menyoroti pergantian Presiden Republik Indonesia, Jokowi ke Prabowo. Media luar turut membahas pengaruh Indonesia, ekonomi Indonesia dan potensial besar di masa depan.
When it comes to relations with the Muslim world, as well as Australia's place in our region, our strategic and economic security, well, there's no country more important than our northern neighbour, Indonesia. In Jakarta yesterday, Indonesia held the inauguration of its new president, Prabowo Subianto. And for some unfathomable reason, our Prime Minister did not attend. Australia was represented by the Deputy Prime Minister, Richard Marles.
Prabowo Subianto has been sworn in as the new president of Indonesia. This happened on Sunday. The 73-year-old former Special Forces commander came to power after winning the elections by a landslide back in February.
Nusantara lies 1,400 kilometres northeast of Jakarta, which is sinking under the effects of climate change and policies related to overpopulation. It's not the only reason countries around the world are watching Indonesia, which connects the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Southeast Asia's largest country by population of 280 million is also the world's third largest democracy. Outgoing President Joko Widodo, who will step down in October, has focused on bringing an economic transformation to his country that his successor, President-elect Prabowo Subianto, has vowed to carry on. Why are both China and the US pouring billions into the country, and what increasingly makes Indonesia hold the balance of power in Asia?
I think Indonesia or Jakarta has a very promising future because first, Indonesia historically has a very strong tie with the European country given its colonial past, especially with the Netherlands. And also in the Indo-Pacific area, Indonesia has been building stronger and stronger trade relation or other relation with Australia in the region. And then thirdly, Indonesia also has a lot access to these Muslim markets. So the Islam connection also helped Indonesia. Among all the other ASEAN countries, Indonesia can stand up to explore more export or import markets.
Okay. Now, Indonesia holds the world's largest reserves of nickel, accounting for more than half of the world's supply of this raw material, which underpins green technologies, as Christy mentioned, such as electric vehicles and wind turbines. No country has been as pivotal to Jakarta's transformation into a nickel powerhouse. In October, he's the current defense minister and an ex-military man. He's also been accused of human rights abuses and war crimes during his father-in-law's time, Suharto. That regime, especially in Timor-Leste, East Timor, while he campaigned on continuity with Jokowi, how do you expect his presidency would differ?
Well, given the president-elect's background as a defense minister, of course, he is very much aware of the interstate conflict probability in the region. So he immediately has strengthened its tie with Australia, for example. And then the Indonesia and Australia already signed a Lombok agreement back in 2006. So in that, they promised to tackle either traditional and non-traditional partnership in defending these regions. So I think given its the president-elect's the position as a Minister of Defense, he will focus more on those hard power issues, besides the infrastructure and then also the economic issues that we just talked about.
Do you think that he would, what sort of perspective, a military perspective on the South China Sea in terms of China's expansionism would he take?
Well, but at this point, Indonesia is not capable enough to challenge China in terms of those South China Sea issues militarily. So any military action or decision still serve the purpose of boosting its economy. So I think it might still maintain the status quo and then still focusing on continuing Jokowi's policy to improve its infrastructure and improve its domestic economy, while it might extend more invitation to build a more international relation with other countries other than China. For example, with the US, with even Russia, with Europe. So after the president got elected, and then he has been to many different international travel. So we can call it a world traveler. It's very different from the former presidents.
Right, yes. And Christy, so analysts are saying that is going to be the very distinct difference is Widodo's focus was very much on domestic or internal issues, whereas Prabowo's will expand to foreign policy. And as Professor just mentioned, he's already visited a string of different countries. What do you make of that, of these multiple international meetings, even before he's in office?
I think Jokowi just set some beautiful or very positive case for bringing the country to the world stage, and therefore the new president must be under great pressure. And just imagine or just remember that Jokowi successfully held the G20 meeting 2 years ago, and he also managed to establish very close relation with Western democracy as well as China. He was also very in good relation with Russia, right? And therefore, he has already set for this country a medium-sized country can do in terms of these international affairs, in terms of enhancing its influence because of its size and also because of its diplomatic networks. So the new president will definitely follow suit what Jokowi has demonstrated in terms of economic policy, in terms of infrastructure. That must be in the center of the new president's policy. And I heard in Jakarta from some Indonesian scholars and experts that they may have a little bit worries or concerns about the new president's diplomacy, because he doesn't have that kind of background. But I don't think that is something that needs to be worried, because Jokowi will continue to shed the light or even continue to provide what he can do to offer the new government what the government can do in terms of building all these important relations with all these major powers.
So you're saying that he will still maintain a role in government?
I heard that he is no more. I mean, after this, after he leaves the position, he will have no official role. But just think about his influence. I don't think he's completely going back to be a retired president. There must be a lot of advisory work or consultative work that domestic politicians, even foreign politicians or large multinational companies will need to have his advice.
Yeah, and I understand that his son will play quite a pivotal role as vice president.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And also, do remember that this political party in Indonesia is still very, very important. So right now, with all these new political parties, and you can have important people either position in the cabinet or position as a leader or the new leader for certain political parties. So I think Jokowi's influence will definitely be there, because I was there 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago, and everybody admired Jokowi. So I don't think he is going to be a totally retired politician without doing anything important for the country.
Okay, and besides, he needs to see the completion of his 20-year project, so I guess he
will make sure that his legacy will be continued.
Indonesia sudah tidak dipandang remeh lagi oleh dunia internasional. Dengan presiden terbaru Prabowo, Indonesia akan memainkan peran yang lebih besar di dunia.